So I've made over 400 different meads, but I've never made an apricot mead before. And today we're gonna make it, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. So let's get started. So like I said, I've never made an apricot mead. And it hasn't necessarily been by choice. Well, I guess that's not true. It's been by choice because I haven't gone and got the fruit, but it's also been by the lack of access to them. I did not realize that I could get them locally here in Oklahoma, and it's only because of my friend Caleb, who also lives in Oklahoma and who has access to forage apricots, that I'm doing this. So this mead started with my buddy Caleb reaching out saying, hey, I've got some apricots. I am going to harvest them. Would you like some? And I said, of course. Now, I do want to pause. I'm going to say apricot. I know lots of people are going to say apricot. Feel free to let me know in the comments what way you say it, but I say apricots, and I could be wrong. Little tangent there. He reached out, said, I've got about 3 pounds of apricots for you. Would you like to do something with them? I said, of course. He brought them to me frozen. So they came frozen, and I let them sit in my freezer for a little bit, and then finally decided to go ahead and make the mead. I started by putting them into a bucket and putting pectic enzyme on them. This will help break down the fruit skins and get more juice out of the fruit itself. We had the 3 pounds, like I said. I will also put up a recipe card if you're curious on how this is made. You can make this with dried fruit, I believe, but obviously fresh fruit, frozen fruit's gonna be probably the better tasting of the two. After that pectic enzyme sat on the fruit for about 24 hours, we went ahead and added on top of that 3 pounds of honey. We used like a wildflower honey, that's what I had at the moment. And we used Lalvin 71B for our yeast, which is generally good for darker fruits, and it's just here's a little flavor graph that it has. It's a solid yeast all around. We added water up to 1.25 gallons, and we blended that all up. We had the fruit skins broken down because of the pectic enzyme, and then I used a drill attachment, and we stirred the crap out of it. So it was all mixed up to a starting gravity of 1.080, meaning that if the fermentation completes to 1.000, we will have a 10.5% ABV brew. We did go ahead and do some step feeding with this one, meaning we added our ferment over the course of about 2 days. We added it in staggered nutrient schedule, essentially. So at 24 hours, I added ferment, 48 hours ferment, and then we left it alone. We punched the cap on the fruit to make sure that it would stay submerged, and we let that all sit for about 2 weeks. Fermentation finished at 1.000. I figured that out by my hydrometer reading, which is what we did originally. We then racked it into a new container. We had a total volume of about 1 gallon. We started with the 1.25, knowing that we would lose some because of fruit matter. So we ended up racking it into a new container, stabilizing it with potassium sorbate and metabisulfite that's used to halt fermentation and yeast reproduction, essentially. We then let it set for a couple more days. We back sweetened it to, I believe, at 1.020. I forgot to write this number down, but we added about, I think it was a half pound of honey to the gallon carboy, and that brought that final gravity up to approximately there. At this point, it was hazy, and I was like, well, what do I want to do with this? So I let it set, hoping it would just naturally clear over time. It didn't. So I added a force clearing agent, sparkaloid, and it cleared it like right up. 24 hours later, it was totally clear. So we cleared it up, and we went ahead and bottled it. As you can see here, it's pretty dang clear. Bottled it, it's been sitting around, and because Caleb was so gracious to share them with me, just the apricots initially, I wanted to get him on the tasting. So I shared a bottle with him. Being local in Oklahoma was a pro. It made it a whole lot easier for sure. So I shared a bottle with him, and we're about to do the tasting for this mead at about 2.5, 3 months old. Not very old for a 10.5% brew, but it'll be interesting to see. And I hope that Caleb gets to enjoy the fruits of this labor. So here's that recipe card. if you would like to make this. Again, if you've made this in a different version with dried fruit or some alternative, let me know down below. Let us know how we can make this in a different way. And let's go to the tasting to see what it tastes like. All right, welcome, Caleb. The origin of the... I've been saying apricot. Do you say apricot or apricot? What's your...
I say apricot.
Okay. I said something in the video about how I probably was saying it wrong, and someone in the YouTube comments is going to say, "You're saying this right. You know, it's apricot." So, anyways, we'll have a debate in the comment section. Regardless, you originally sent these apricots, and I would love to know how did you source them? What's your source? Because around here, Edmond, Oklahoma City, there's not a lot.
So I live on a little 5-acre homestead that I have, and I have three apricot trees on my land.
Nice. Are they hard to take care of?
No, I haven't done anything.
Okay. Hey, that's great. That's great. And you also have fig trees. That's another thing.
Yeah.
And we've had a conversation about you sharing. You are thinking about sharing a fig tree, essentially for me to start my own adventure down that path, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
Do you have any other fruit trees like that?
The only trees I have right now is a peach tree, and I have 3 pecan trees. So
okay.
I know it's not a fruit tree, but...
Well, I mean, still. Cool. That's awesome, man. Well, you harvested these yourself, you gathered them, and you froze them, and you shared some with myself and BC.
Yep.
And I sat on them for a little bit and then finally got my act together and made this mead, and everyone has seen the process of it. Let's go ahead and pour it and drink it. I don't know if yours is poured out, but I'm going to open mine and do a little pouring. It should be still. If it wasn't still, then we're in trouble. But I'll get in front of my right camera. It's pretty good looking brew.
Yes, it's very clear.
I did use Sparkaloid. I cheated. It was not naturally clear. So.
Oh, I use that all the time.
So, and I said the wrong thing in the video. I realize now, going back to my notes, I said wildflower honey. This is mango blossom honey. So we're going to have some extra tropical-y notes coming ahead. Within this, the wildflower would have given, obviously, just more basic notes.
Yeah.
What do you get on the nose from this guy?
It's very florally. I know I said that wrong, but...
No.
I've had that mango honey before, and I think that's what I'm smelling.
Yeah.
It kind of has a very distinct taste or smell.
It does. It's very bright, very fruity.
Yes. I think I've had it 2 times before, and it's a very noticeable smell.
I love it though. It's great. There's a little bit of booze on the nose, I will say. A little boozy, but for 10.5%, 2.5 months.
Yeah.
To be expected, I would say.
Yeah. It smells great though.
Well, shall we drink? Let's do it.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. I haven't honestly tasted it much. I kind of normally wait. Mm-hmm. I did after the back sweetening because I was trying to figure out my levels. What's your immediate hit? What do you get?
I get the stone fruit flavor from the apricots.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that mango blossom honey taste. And I get a little bit of alcohol, but not much at all.
Yeah.
It's smooth though. It's very smooth. I get the stone fruit. The kind of aftertaste when you breathe out, you get the apricot taste.
It's light. I will say, I feel like maybe my ratio, I should have maybe gone lower water because it's there, like you said, but it I don't want to say it's LaCroix-like style, but because it's definitely stronger than a LaCroix would be, but it is that idea of more of an essence, and it's apparent, but I do wish it was slightly stronger on the palate.
Yeah. Well, next year I'll have to give it you more.
Well, on the exhale, it's definitely there, like you said, which is kind of interesting. But obviously, with a fruit mead, you really want that first taste to be just that fruit,
Yeah. I mean, it's still good.
My wonder is this is semi-sweet. I did have to back sweeten it, and I remember vividly. I tried it after it went dry, and it was it was way less apricot tasting because there was no sugar content to boost that flavor. So the back sweetening helped. I don't think back sweetening further would help, but I do wonder if some acid, and I don't know what specific acids are like the base ones for apricots, but maybe a boost? I don't know. Something to consider.
Yeah. I was going to say, I really like citric acid and everything.
Yeah.
I think it's just something I like. I think a little bit of citric acid would boost it, I think.
Yeah. No, I use it. That's one of my, and malic. I very rarely use tartaric, but I probably should more. I think it's a good baseline.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fruity dial needs to go up a little bit, which is unfortunate because, at least for me, apricots are not something I could easily get. And I actually bought, because I was a little worried that I wasn't going to get enough flavor from just the fruit you gave me. I didn't end up doing this, obviously. I bought some dried apricots because I found out those were local and easy to buy. I almost tossed some in to try and get more flavor, but then I kind of backed out and I was like, no, I'm going to leave it the true, real, whatever fruit. But maybe that would have been a way to boost it slightly.
Yeah, possibly. How much fruit did you use again on it?
So I think you gave me like 3 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, 2 to 3 pounds, something like that. And my water was up to 1.25 gallons. So I ended up yielding a little bit less than a gallon, just shy. 3 pounds of honey. So 1080 was our starting gravity on it. It does seem to be opening up slightly with it breathing some more. You get more of the fruit on the nose, less of the honey character, which is kind of nice.
Yes.
Overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. Again, I would just dial up the amount of fruit. It just requires more fruit, unfortunately. So, well, Caleb, thank you for sharing this with me. I highly encourage anybody who wants to try apricots, if you have a source, like a Caleb in your life, see if you can go knock on their door and go steal from their trees. Or if you have them local to you in some form or fashion, it's definitely worth a try. It's a different kind of fruit. I would say it's like a delicate fruit. I would put it almost in the same category as like a pear, maybe even a peach, in that you kind of have to go heavy hand with those fruits to get that full flavor profile. So just, if I tweaked my recipe card, and I'll throw it up again with some tweaks, I would probably go up to 4, maybe 5 pounds of fruit per gallon. But at that point, you're taking more losses. So it's kind of like this. The scale keeps going up. You add more water, and then you're just playing this game of trying to get enough flavor. But still very good. So thank you again for sharing this with me.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you for sending me a bottle and everything.
Yeah, I look forward to many years from now, sharing a fig mead with you from hopefully homegrown figs here. That'll be kind of fun. Very full circle thing. But I know that process takes a long time. So,
yes.
Well, all right. Go find that recipe card, make the stuff. Thanks to Caleb. Let me know down below, of course, if you've done stuff with apricots, and give us all the research we need. And we'll chat with you later. Thanks, Caleb.
Yep, thank you.